hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. The claws in my heart, I can't let go, I'm breaking apart, controlling me, controlling me. Hello, all my friends, all my lovely Paranormal Portal family. How you guys doing tonight? I am just thrilled to be here with you and to have this moment to hang out. It's been a day, but so I see you're all staying up late, but it's time to get comfortable now, ladies and gentlemen, because it's time for bed. Hey, so everybody, we are here. This is the Paranormal Portal, Bedtime Stories from Beyond, and I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and having a hell of a day, but actually, my car broke down. I was stranded in a Walmart parking lot tonight, so, oh, God. I'm here to tell you. It's one of those things that I know the car is kind of on, it's skating on its last gasps and all that, but it chose now. It chose now, and I don't know. I mean, maybe it's fixable, maybe it's not, maybe it will be, maybe it won't. I don't know. It's just one of those things when you have those days, and we all have them. But I was just, I was cold, I was tired. And I came home and I went, I thought maybe I just want to sit down and warm up because I was outside for a long time. But I got home and I was like, you know what? This is part of what I love in every day. And so even though part of the day really sucked and it wasn't horrible. If your car's going to break down in a Walmart parking lot's okay because you could probably survive in there for months if you had to, I'm saying. They got everything in those stores. So I knew I'd be okay, that I wouldn't have to forage off of, wild fauna and chewing on leaves and stuff. But, just getting home, it was like, rather than just to shut down for the rest of the day, I'm going to do the one thing. Well, there's several things that I love in my days. Don't get me wrong. I love being a husband. I love being a father. But I love being here. And so I was like, I'm going to go do this thing that I love because I need it now. I need this lift. And so I came to hang out with you guys. So I initially had told Danielle, look, could you put a message out, no portal tonight? Because I was actually standing in a Walmart parking lot, cold and stuck. So, but we got it all. We got the car brought home, and, tomorrow will be another day to figure out that. But here I am, and here you are, and thank you guys for being here because I needed to see you guys. I needed to hang out with you. You guys are a big part of my days, so thank you for being here and being a part of it. And I love you all bunches. So let's see what kind of paranormal mayhem we can dig up for tonight's show. It's not going to be a long show, so I hope you'll at least indulge me that, because I'm really worn out. I'm still cold. It's like the kind of cold when you're outside in the cold for a long time. It just kind of goes to your bones. And so I was standing out there, and then it took forever because of where we had to bring the car to get it in the place outside of my house. And so, and I really wasn't dressed for it. So here we go. Let's see what we can find out here. So I'm sorry to whine, by the way, guys, but I mean, it's just the way life works, and I'm not going to pout. I'm not feeling sorry for myself, but it's just one of those things, So I'm going to close the night with you guys. This is my son. This is my son sitting on the, what? Oh, this has got a picture. Oh, I'm going to skip this one because I don't want to dig up a picture and copy and paste it and do all that stuff. So I'm going to do this instead. I hope this one doesn't have pictures. Yeah, it has a ton of pictures. I'm going to do those on a different night. I'm going to leave them open because they do look like they'd be cool. But I just don't want to go through and save pictures and catalog it and then pull it back up. So here's one. And this one has to do with the old hags and sleep paralysis. And that seems to be a common story lately, especially if you haven't seen it, head over to Lady Death's channel. She did a great little video about that, and I forgot the name that they use, but it's like a Cajun name for the phenomenon, and it's like the devil riding on you on your back. And it sounds like sleep paralysis, but in the spiritual sense. But it's just really cool. She did a great job. So check it out and go subscribe to her channel because she's just a wonderful person, and she's does these great, amazing videos, and I want to see her do a ton more of them. So go support her if you can. All right, let's get to the story. Since I was 14, I have had dreams with unseen entities in them. My dreams are incredibly real, taking place in homes that I used to live in or homes that I was slept in, and I can never see these things, but I know exactly where they are in my dreams, and I can hear them. Sometimes they talk, though I can never remember what they said, and I try to scream or to call out and tell them to leave me alone, but sometimes I try to call out for God to help me, but he never does, and I'm paralyzed and I can't speak. It's as if they take away my ability to make sound. One time, one of the things got into my mind from my ear, and I shook it out and woke up, and sometimes when I'm just about to fall asleep, the atmosphere will change in my room, and suddenly I jolt awake. It's like my body becomes hypersensitive to my surroundings and is open to otherworldly things. I used to have to battle these things from taking over my body and would throw fits in my sleep and thrash my head around just trying to keep them out. I know for a fact that I've done this because an ex-girlfriend watched me do it once and it freaked her out. I don't understand why this happens to me. I want it to stop, but I'm not sure how. I thought I could turn to God, for I really believed he could help me, but he never once made them go away. Are they really spirits or demons that take the shape of spirits or other forms? I'm lost and scared. Please give me advice. Well, it's, there is a balancing point in all this, ladies and gentlemen, and I think there is truly a psychological phenomenon known as sleep paralysis. I think that truly is a condition that some people suffer from. However, I do truly believe that there is a spiritual causation to some of that as well. And I know that what science can't do is they can't quantify spirit. They just can't. They don't have the ability to measure. They don't have the ability to catalog or record or to, take spiritual readings to figure out how bad or how low, to give it a gauge. They just can't do that. So instead of acknowledging that could be a causation, they, of course, erase it from the probability of it completely. But I do think that some people suffer from attacks from these beings. Now, I don't know about the whole God doesn't help me thing, because I really believe that, I really do believe in a being that I usually call God, but just out of simplicity's sake, I don't know how to define it other than that it's this, universal, perfect, amazing life force that created a whole bunch of things. But I don't know why people have the idea that it should, this amazing, multidimensional, perfect being should just run and save them over and over. It's not, and I'm not saying that, I got to be careful how I say this, because I'm not saying that people don't deserve it or that they shouldn't be saved, but I'm saying that, I don't know, people have an expectation that if I say this, then this, and what if it doesn't happen? Well, in terms of faith, I think everything depends on the heart of the believer, of the faithful. I think everything depends on the heart of the faithful and how much of that energy you can bring through to help you out. Now, I don't know that this universal consciousness called God can, or that I call God, can just sit and watch somebody's dreams going, oh, that person's dealing with some crap, let me get over there and help them out. Now, there is an omniscience, and I understand that, but I think that there's also a person has responsibility to take care of themselves and to, God, I don't know if I'm even saying this right. It's even been one of those days. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's really hard to shape it into words. Basically, in anything that you have faith in, it depends on your amount of faith or how much true faith. Now, faith is not the same thing as I believe in this, so therefore it should always save me. Faith is an exercise of living in a manner which would promote that energy to be a part of your life and more. Some people use this God thing like it's a hanky in their pocket, and they run around and do their lives, and then when things get really crummy, it's like, oh, God, I got my God flag, And it's like, that's not how it works. It's not like you get to be, and I'm not trying to suggest this person isn't a good person, but there is a mentality that like it's like a get out of jail free card or something that you just whip out when you need it. But to exercise faith is an every moment kind of thing. And I believe that that's why Jesus said you have to pray without ceasing. And it's not meaning that you should be folded in prayer like this 24 hours a day. But what I think that statement means is that you have to embody that spirituality at all times. And so I don't know this person's spirituality that wrote the story, but I think that some people have unrealistic expectations for how the divine should respond to them because they believe. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't know if I made any sense or not, but I'm really trying to. So I hope it did. But I think that that's an important thing. Now I'm just going to read a couple more. This one sounds pretty dark, but I got the red moon up tonight because that's my that's my raging moon. That's my raging Cajun moon, not mood. But all right, no, this one's too long. I really don't want to read long stories tonight. Let's see what this one looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Not because you're not worth a long story, but just because I don't have enough gas in my tank to go for a long show. All right, one night I was laying in bed when I realized I really needed to go to the bathroom. Getting up, I went down the hallway to our small bathroom, which is upstairs, and I noticed that the bathroom door was shut, but the light was off, so I thought nothing of it, and I went to open the door, but I suddenly heard a loud sound of someone clearing their throat. I thought it was my uncle who had recently moved in with us and decided to wait for him to get out. I waited in bed for about 10 minutes and finally decided to just go to sleep. That's some serious bladder control. A few hours later, I woke again and went to get out of my bed, and suddenly the bathroom lights began to flicker madly. I stepped closer to the hallway when I heard a loud crash in the bathroom and wondered what had happened. I peeked behind me and looked into my brother's room to see him fast asleep, and figuring it was my uncle again, I walked up to the door and said, "Uncle Gary, what are you doing?" There was no reply. I stepped back and heard a faint gurgling noise. Listening for a moment, I realized it was my uncle snoring fast asleep in his room. Terrified, I ran into my brother's room and climbed into his bed for the remaining 3 hours until morning. When morning came, I asked my mom if she had used the bathroom, and she said no, she hadn't. And so I asked my stepdad, and he told me he had gone to the bathroom. So I asked him why he hadn't responded when I asked him what was going on, and why was he flicking the lights on and off. And then he asked, "What are you talking about? I used the bathroom downstairs, and I didn't do anything like that." Since then, we've moved, but every night, I still check the bathroom before using it. Yeah, that's terrible. And it could be somebody stuck in their death state. Maybe they passed in their bathroom. That might have been their last place. Sometimes spirits, when they pass, get stuck in what's called a death state, where they just kind of keep experiencing their death over and over and over. And I can't imagine what a torment that must be. But I guess it's them processing or working through the fact that they passed. But I don't know. Very strange. Excuse me. This one was the long one, yeah. I guess it's not too bad. All right, I'll read this one, and this one's a little bit longer, but I think we'll close with this one, guys. I hope you understand, but I'm just a little tired. So, this all started when we moved into our new house, and we have a lot of strange things going on here. I live here with my mom, my stepdad, younger brother, Darian, and youngest brother, Devin. Darian is 13 and Devin's 11, and we first started feeling things when we would go into Dev's room. It was always colder than ours and darker, and it never felt quite right. But we would stay in there nonetheless because it's hot in Vegas. And his room is always much colder than the rest of the house. That's one benefit. It's like the haunting is like an air conditioner. And when you go into his room, a wave of unease would just wash over you. It was hard to breathe, and I've always been a little sensitive with things like that, and I'd had a lot of encounters with things of this nature. It unsettled me a lot to feel that this was much worse. Sometimes when I would walk in there to watch TV with my brothers, I would get a horrible pain in my arm, leg, head, or stomach. So I limited the time I spent in there and stayed in my room, which always felt really cozy and safe. Everything started to get a bit out of hand when my friend Gina came over after school one day. Excuse me. She's a bit of a sensitive as well, and I wanted to see if she felt as horribly as I did when she entered that room. Sure enough, when we walked in, she felt really uneasy and wanted to get the hell out of there. But at the same time, we wanted to know who or what was in there. So we went about making our own Ouija board. And board is spelled B-O-R-E-D. Bad idea number one. We sat on Devin's bed and proceeded. Darian, Gina, and myself, Devin had stayed at his mom's house with a friend, and we talked for whatever it was that had contacted us through the board, and we asked its name, and it spelt out a series of letters we couldn't keep up with. And then it said, Ray. We talked to it, and it claimed to be a demon. Shortly after that, I got a sharp pain in my head, and Gina told me to grab my crystal and go in my room, and I did, and the pain quickly subsided. Later on, we decided we were brave enough to try a seance. Bad idea number two. We chose the garage, and we made the circle of salt, joined hands, and we decided to call him Ray. It got cold. Really, really cold. And my cat, Mystique, went insane. She's also my familiar, and she was inside desperately scratching and meowing desperately at the door. What I chose to see might not have been what my brother and Gina saw, but I saw a man, tall, hair slicked back, but it was long, and his jaw was bristling with hair. I couldn't see his eyes. I didn't try to look at him directly, more like past him to see my brother. It turned towards me, and I still made no attempt to look at its face. At this point, I was terrified. I got a hideously sharp pain in my stomach like someone was turning all my guts inside out, and I thought I was going to die. The pain was unbearable, and I was crying in agony. And Gina told us to picture it going back into the room and being locked in there. We did. We broke the circle and we went inside. And sometimes when I go in that room, I get chills. Or when I'm just passing it. But I know I never want to experience that again. Yeah, you with don't play with darkness, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing good can come of it. It's wild that there are some esoteric practices that teach to try to bind dark entities, and there are magical practices that try to utilize that dark energy and to utilize it for themselves. And I just can't imagine the whatever benefit you would get would just be certainly outweighed by being attached to something so dark for the rest of eternity. That just can't be good. So anyway, but I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm sorry it was late, but I got here as quickly as I could, and I came, and I think we portaled. I came, I saw, I portaled. So I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. I got a lot to take care of myself, so there's going to be a lot of rollerblading in my future, I think. But we'll get through it. Like all things, ladies and gentlemen, they all come to pass, and then we're on to the better things. So you guys take care, be good, and I will see you tomorrow night here on the portal, and we'll figure out some more paranormal mayhem to get into then. But love you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful night, and be good. But sweet dreams.